You're listening to the Law Enforcement Pirate Radio Network. Radio Free Larry presiding.
You can run, but you can't hide.
Radio Free Larry.
All right, here we go again. Buckle up. Rough roads ahead. Trying to test out my new light duty headphones. Well, when it's like summer and fall, the winter is not too bad, but summer, fall, maybe a little bit in the spring. If you wear heavy headphones and you block your ears, you get a lot of wax in there, and the allergens pick up and all that, and the pollen. So these lighter headphones just kind of lay on the outside, and they're real small. They're not really blocking the hearing canal there, and it probably will do much better. So I keep reminding myself it's Labor Day weekend. That's why people are drinking, I guess. All I know is Amazon's closed tomorrow. What's going on? Well, they would keep it open, but they'd be sued or something. So everybody be angry. So I swear it's darker over here. I told them that the lights are, I guess it takes a while. It's Labor Day weekend, right? They can't get anybody to fix it. I guess that's it. But it's kind of dangerous over here. It's kind of dark. Well, it may have been out for a while. I don't know. I just noticed it. I guess not. There's a couple of the overhead lights are out on the one side of this place. Security violation. So it's been a little crazy, needless to say. I'm surprised the cops weren't here when they were. I'm trying to. I really feel bad because I missed some opportunities to speak with a certain person, and God already showed me what was going on. And that person, I don't know their situation completely, right? But she looks at me and she says, "Does somebody believe me? He's messing with me," or whatever she said. I said, "I believe you. Now go." Because, it was at that point where she's trying to, it's just going crazy. And I'm like, "No, you can't," because, and I'm trying to talk to him. I said, "You can't do this." And he goes, "Well, I'm okay. I was in jail 4 times. I'm like, "Look, that's bad. That's why you don't do anything. Because, see, when you get in front of the judge the next time, he'll say the same thing. You've been in jail 4 times. Yes, Your Honor, 4 times, and we have 7 reports. And I said, if you keep going, then someday it's going to be like 3 strikes and you're out, and they're going to give you like 20 years or a life. So I gave him the talk, but he goes, "What am I supposed to do? This is happening." I'm like, "Look," and I explained it to him. I said, you can't run away and hide from her. I said, it's going to mess her up for like a few days. Like, to him, it's just like funny, and I'm like, "No, you can't do that." So I hope, it's going to work. And I don't know what she's doing completely, but when she said, "I want somebody to believe me." So I don't know if he's a narcissist or what. I don't really know these people. It was much quieter the last time they were here. Right. And I'm hoping they're not on narcotics, because I can't quite figure out if that's happening. 100%. She needs to go somewhere else and live. I don't know whose room it is, because I can see it's brewing. It's brewing. She has to go inside and just not say anything. But I think they got a whole bunch of people in the room. And I don't know if it's her room or his room because I've heard burst stories from one person. All right. No, it's really weird. And it's a problem, you know, it's the party. The party is the problem. Right. She's actually supposed to be, I think the way this is working, she's actually supposed to be someplace quiet, right? Recuperating. I knew I just, you know, when it comes to women and when they're with somebody, I don't like pulling them aside. I mean, he already gave me permission to talk to her because he said, because I was talking to him like one of the first days where she disappeared. And he said, you got to tell her this stuff. You got to tell her this stuff. And, you know, it's okay when you bring her around sometime because like, it's kind of how I usually handle it. Right. But God made some opportunities and I misread it. Because she went away and then she came back like late at night one time and I was going out to my van and I felt like I should have said something. But again, I don't want any issues around. I want to try to make it as smooth as possible. But again, if people are just partying, it's very difficult to help them. All right. So, and I don't know, you know, because again, I don't see her drinking, but for all I know, she's in there doing meth. And I'm not saying she is, but I'm a realist, right? And that may be one of the problems, right? But again, she seems honest, and maybe she is. She's like, I got my own shit I'm dealing with. And I understand that that's what this is all probably supposed to be about, but it's not happening, right? Well, and he's saying, well, you know, I'm okay because I'm not locked up. I said, no. I said, they have reports. I can't tell you what's in those reports, and you can't tell me what's in those reports, no matter what they said to you. I said, one day they can take you in front of the judge with 10 reports. And then you go, well, I've been locked up 4 times. I said, that's not the answer. Because, you know, he's articulating what he wants out of everything. And I said, that's not the answer to get there. I said, you either got to split up or you got to change. And that's just the only thing that's going to work. I said, look, I was in an abusive relationship. But I'm starting to believe that something else, you know, it's because I saw it. He was messing with her and he thought it was funny, but you can't do that to somebody who's like autistic or bipolar or something because it can send them reeling into the wrong direction. All right. I'm not saying that he's at that level. So I don't know. It's just crazy. I'm just afraid you're going to have to, or the law enforcement is going to have to get over here again. So, because they're not going to sleep and the doors are open. And the one guy, he was having a conversation with him. He was talking about gang stalking. So he knew what was happening in my life, right? So he's talking about gang. I said, that's gang stalking. Because I saw some videos. I said, did it happen to you? Or I saw some videos. And he said that it kind of happened to him, but he looks down. And the way I said, I did that for like I was still in the Marshal Service when I did that. Like I didn't even bother looking at these people. And I said, it doesn't do anything. I said, I'm not doing that. He goes to a party and they're staring at him. And, you know, if they're staring at him. So again, somebody targeted him for a little while. I'm sure he's not targeted now. Right. For most people's life, they go away. But again, I had high dollar target. So, right. No, it's because I'm saying, hey, get out of here, weirdos. Even if somebody's in it for that reason, if I erase that reason, they'll be in it anyway. Somebody will be in it. And then it'll be worse because nobody will know what's going on. And it was worse. And it was worse for the agents because they couldn't protect themselves. And they were being picked off. Now, the other agents think it's funny because they get paid millions of dollars to do that. Their life, become made men in some sort of, billionaire, millionaire mafia. Sometimes they're named Comey. So again, just because Trump canned Comey doesn't mean I owe Trump anything, and doesn't mean that Trump's okay. Because when you're in the government, this stuff happens all the time. Again, I was asleep to it. But when you get out, I got out and I woke up and I realized what it all was. But it's back and forth all day long. That's like, and if there was a spirit, I was just speaking and I wasn't thinking about what I was going to say, but it's like how do they have time to F off that much with all the crime in the world to try to destroy your life all these years? And I don't know, it was somebody with power. It could have been a judge, could have been, somebody that was actually actively doing their job all those years. So it's still a little warm. We got a couple more days. Probably not as warm as Texas and Oklahoma, but but warm nonetheless. Oh my God. Well, what I was going to do is I was going to give her some of the metaphysics of it. And it's just a light, but the idea of what you're supposed to say when it happens. Now, again, he can't be partying with 3 other guys, ignoring her all day, that kind of thing, right? It's, to restore a relationship, the key is to say it's not either one of the parties. Again, remember what traditional marriage counseling and relationship counseling is? Well, you were doing this and he was doing this. That's the wrong way to handle it. Now, I realize some people succeed through that, but it's an illusion. Again, it's like the law of attraction. It doesn't work. It only works for certain groups of people. See, that's why Jesus came. And again, I'm here and I'm saying what Jesus said, and I'm kind of explaining it better also. And Jesus and the disciples knew information would come. I'm not saying it's only me, but I'm one of the, I guess, quote unquote, prophets that brings that additional information. And whether you hear me speak or not, it's moving into your heads or moving into heads and not necessarily yours. My stuff, the CIA knows my stuff will pop up everywhere. Of course, they keep tabs on people that have power, right? Try to kill certain ones. Not right. And they don't like that part, right? You don't know what the other agents or I guess officers are doing, right? Of course, it's built that way to keep us all honest, right? You actually, how do you know how we're built? Because I talk to you all. I'm in your heads. There's not too many friends out there. I turn on you, you turn on me. Ooh, sexy. Out of here, Montoya. She's big. She's huge. Rose Montoya. That's why that happened to her. No, I'm not talking about. Oops. No, I figured out she's one of my responsibilities. Right? They call them charges. Right? Her inside does a lot more than her. I don't know what she knows. Right? Well, the whole thing is that we've stagnated because of what they call politics. But of course, it's Satan. Well, the idea is this. If there's some way, the last discussion that came up, and Rose Montoya may have been in there, or her spirit was in there. Again, she doesn't mean that she has any awareness of what's going on. She's one of the witnesses. She's a trans woman witness. So the last part came up that let's say it is something hormonal, right? And we learn to fix it. She said, what if somebody still wants to be trans? I said, well, at that point, that's a little bit different, isn't it? And the question is, did we really fix it? You see, because for that person, it may not be hormonal. And then I think we ended the thought with, like Jesus said, there is no man and no woman in reality, and no sexuality or any of that, right? but it doesn't mean that it won't exist. Again, I wish people could really have an open conversation with God, because you can have a closed conversation with God where it's only your mind, right? Whether you're a liberal or a conservative. Again, you could be a closed-minded liberal where you don't accept conservative ideas that may actually work, and that's where we're stuck with that. And then Republicans and conservatives are doing the same thing, and then middle roaders, and it can grow out from there. Go on forever on who's not accepting what thought, right? No, it's broken. The system's completely, utterly broken. But it's a scam. It's like, well, I'm rich. So again, the idea is this. I think the Russians plan to take over the government, but and the Chinese. But when they lose control of the government, it doesn't matter, because what they've done is they've screwed up the government to take it over. The people that are left aren't supposed to be running the government. It's supposed to be other people many of them are dead based upon that system, killing them out. It's called killing them out. But why do we? Because you're a bunch of piece of shit, crap, do nothing, know nothing slugs. But so is Trump, really. Trump's just a crime boss, man. He steals other people's ideas and gets mad when people don't worship him. I mean, it's sick. He invokes God and then demands worship. Oh my gosh. I mean, that's pretty much his big mistake. Of all the things that happened to Trump, he invoked God and then demanded worship. Worship of him. It's not, he didn't want loyalty. He wanted worship. Okay, there they come. They're here. Hi. I don't know if they're just driving through, but there's they quieted it down a little bit. But just the guy's underneath. The hippie lives underneath. He's like an old time hippie or something. I don't know what kind of music he plays. It's Bonner Springs. I guess it's maybe blue. He might be country western bluegrass. I don't know, folk. But him and his wife are musicians. He's nice, seeming a nice enough guy, but he's a little nervous, because he doesn't know who I am. He didn't know who I was, right? But the second time I spoke to him was a little bit better. And I tell people, look, I used to be in the government. I'm not going to say, just so they don't go, okay, this is a government guy, but he's like trying to play like he's not. That gets people paranoid. Like, because they have intuition. They know, they know it's government or something like that. Right. So I tell them, like, I'm retired, So he may have called because he was talking about how messed up it was for him. If anyone did call, right? Because they do just drive through here every so often. Oh, gosh. He says they're moving furniture. See, again, my sources, right? They just appear. He said they were moving furniture in the middle of the night. She goes, because I said, I think she's autistic or something. And it's just, I don't think he has the capability to understand how he's supposed to treat her. So at a certain point, again, people can't order him to stay away unless there's, danger. But being that she's trying to rehabilitate from something, I don't know what to do there, right? But the whole thing is, what you do to restore a relationship, or at least try to destroy the things destroying the relationship, you say, it's not us. We're perfect. We love each other. Something is coming between us. It's a devil. It's a demon. It should have no way with us. It should be destroyed. And then you go to work and your boss is like, oh, the boss got in a car accident. Thank you. But that's really how you do it. Because once you start saying that it's one or the other, then the metaphysic doesn't play out the right way, because, well, you're wrong, and you're wrong. Not the billionaire that has 15 operators in your community taking whoever out they want. So the problem is this. I can move into DeSoto, I think, because they're constructing. I think I can move into Gardner. I think it's over that way. I'm just not sure. I have to look at the map for Gardner. I can't remember. But they don't want to live there yet because you haven't built out the community. How you doing? So what they want to do, what's going to happen is everybody's moving into Olathe, south. Was that southwest Olathe? Right. So at a certain point, they're going to have to live there, and some people are going to want to live there. I mean, they look like well-priced, nice places, but when it comes to shopping, if you like shopping and like, the Shields, soccer teams and all, or soccer, what is that place called? Soccer complex. It's further away from DeSoto and further away from Gardner and all these other places where they're building. Now, for, I guess, I don't know, retirees would rather be closer. And again, hospitals, I can't remember the hospital. I don't think I got my answer, did I? The hospital that served that area. So I guess that was one of the inside things that I was supposed to look at. I don't think I got to it. So again, when we talk about retirees, that would be an area that a retiree would want to be in, but I wasn't sure. And again, this is an insight. If I figure out where the hospital is and it's close enough, then that gets a thumbs up for retirees, DeSoto and that area. Right. Because probably better deals out that way. A little quieter. Right. But, one of the things with retirees, the big mistake they make is they move too far from the hospital. But again, it's a pretty good hospital plan here. It looks pretty nice. I mean, I think most of the United States has knowledge on hospital plans. It's just whether they have the fundings to effectuate it, right? The way they're placed and where the roadways are, and how long does it take to get from here to there, and so it looks pretty well, at least in where was this? Johnson County. But I'm not sure. I couldn't remember. Or I don't know DeSoto and what we're dealing with there. I don't think I found the hospital there. It may be the southern one, which is, kind of, what's that called over there? Maybe called Olathe or over, I can't remember. It's a regional or something. It sounded like 130 or something like that, or 140, somewhere in there on the west side. So I have to look it all up again. And then I'm a witness, and if I have a thought in many things, not just with God, and even though God does it all, if I witness that area as having an acceptable hospital system, close enough by, then it'd be more likely that retirees would move in. Of course, there's other people that have witness, and they might live out there and say it's a great place, it's quiet. Right. It's going to be a little, I guess, noisier soon. So again, what you're probably going to be looking at is commuters going into DeSoto in the morning. I don't know if I guess they're there now. They're doing construction. Right. But there needs to be some increase. And I don't know what the plan is for Olathe. I don't know if they put a moratorium on building or how they do it. Right. But they definitely. They definitely need apartment complexes. Now they're building out, which again allows it not to be too compressed, right? And then they're running out of some land, right? So, but they again, if you got kids and you got family, it's easier. And you want do some families like my family, we're kind of like we did our own thing. So living in DeSoto wouldn't have been a problem for us. And there's some things to do in DeSoto, right? But if you're kind of wanting to go to the malls and like a variety of malls, variety of shopping, you have to move closer in towards 69 and what's the 130, 435 and all that, right? It's another 7. Right. That's not that far, I guess. Right. But again, if you shop at one Walmart, that's you still a little bit of ride, I think. I have to check the map. And but if you want to shop at 2 or 3 Walmarts, then it really gets to be a bother. Right. It just depends how you do your shopping, what you like to do. Right. Sometimes, like for me, I'm alone, so I'll go to different Walmarts and say, and I'm a healer also, so I go to different Walmarts, heal different Walmarts, say hi to people, different people, that kind of thing. Right. Get to see different people that need healing. Right. So it's like was trippy. It was also trippy when I first woke up, and not drug trippy. And I told you God took me in vision to the nebulas and all of that, and was recounting all of the things that happened in my life and explaining it to me. He says, like, they curse you from these things. What? He said, don't worry, I got it under control. When you leave the body, we're going to go straight up. We're going to fly to the nebulas. And of course, my mind's like, can I breathe there? He goes, well, if you want to breathe, you can. If you don't want to, you don't have to. You're with me. And then the guy says, well, let's be off the hook. It's probably more comfortable if you have the same type of bodily feeling, but healthier, rejuvenated, and that kind of thing. All right. That's actually instruction. But so I have this, Satan's attacking me and all of that, and God, is behind me. You're a son of God. So the thought came up, and I had never studied any of the not Seventh-day Adventists. I'm probably supposed to study that. It keeps coming up, but the Latter-day Saint stuff. And the thought actually came up that some of what God is speaking to me is Latter-day Saint. And I don't know if Joseph Smith was standing there or not in the spirit, but that did come up, or Moroni or something like that, right? I used to sing a song about Moroni, and they called it Moroni. I was taunting Moroni. Because I'm an angel anyways. I'm just stuck in a body right now. I was supposed to have a good life with a wife and go to church. I mean, that was what the planet represented to God, or synagogue, or something like that. You reneged. Silly you. No, we really are destroying the planet. I don't know how it ends. I don't know if God will reverse it or what, but I have to take my standpoint. I like some of the stuff he even said today. While it was happening, I couldn't even think it. Like, I knew it in the back of my mind, but I couldn't even think it, because then Satan would react to it. We didn't want Satan to react to it, at least at that point. Oh my God. Well, it's good. God's here. God's like 50-channel mind, in a second. I mean, in just even part. I mean, it's more than that, obviously, but there's just all these thoughts going. Okay, so I'm back here. And you're self-conscious. Okay, don't say anything about what you're thinking. It isn't like that. It just happens. But that's what happened. Don't even think about what you're thinking. No, Satan can't read us in here. So it is what it is. So that came up. Because the whole Bible series, if I'm not mistaken, that particular Bible series is pretty much all just traditional Christian books, but except for that one about Moses. So how did that get in there, right? And they may be having similar experiences inside. I don't know, right? I mean, not a similar life, that's for sure. But yeah, so that was pretty wild to see that after God had taken me all these different places in the mind, showed me all these things, and I'm connecting to everything, Yeah, like that's back when God, before I saw the video, that's when I was connected to sharks, and God would show me the spirit of a shark and what would happen if the shark actually woke up in that body, and would be grieved because it's killing things. And so then all of a sudden there's this Moses there. You're like, most people don't like those books because they're not traditional Christian books, but yet. Traditional Christian books are bigger. If you go to the Vatican, if you go to the Greek Orthodox monasteries, the big ones that have manuscripts and all these ancient stuff, I mean, they got scripture forever. So again, what the church has been whittled down to is very minimalist, right? And really, the goal for all of us is for all of the spirits to go with God. We'll call ourselves, right? That sounds good. Is for people to have personal relationships with God. That's all it is. We feel bigger for God. Nobody knows about God. Nobody connects to God. Well, because everybody gives a false impression of who God is and go, well, why do I want to connect to that jerk? That's the way church makes God sound like a jerk. Synagogues do it. Sikhs do it. 100%. And all they're doing is projecting their own idiosyncrasies and saying it's God. So, again, because it's as weird as it is, and again, what do they call it? The underdog? They said I'm the angel that helps the underdog. So the underdog moves all around the planet. So that's when you see me go for a certain community. And again, you could look at the trans community. What do you mean underdogs? But that's not the trans community. That's it's the illusion. You got all the big talking heads, trans talking heads who are just taking some politic and arguing back and forth. There's still trans people everywhere afraid to say anything, and are still dealing with emotions that they don't understand. So they're kind of the underdog now. So, and again, you're all pushing them away from God, and we're trying to get them to at least have a personal relationship with God, whether it's religious or not, because God's inside of them. God's inside of everybody. So doubt. God's even in the metaphysical, the air we breathe. And again, somebody like Elon Musk, who has no ability to see the metaphysical, he sees something, but I don't think it's the metaphysical. I think he sees, he sees quantum physics, and part of quantum physics, he's seeing a little. It's like Sigmund Freud. Sigmund Freud saw a lot, but he had blinders on. So he sees a spiritual side of metaphysics, but he can't see further past a certain point because it meets religion, not some idiot, but religion or scripture, that kind of thing, right? Because to him, these church people are actually telling the truth, but they're not. They're either confused or some of them are just crooks, and they're running a scam. Whether they're good, you can actually have a good preacher and you can be running a scam, because if you're a good scammer, you're a good preacher. And I'm not talking about basic sin or anything else, but like a financial windfall enterprise or something like that, right? So like Rose Montoya is one of their leaders somehow, because she's a big person. Again, there are people that are big. And again, the key to a big person is to be small. So again, inside she cares about people. And that's, I think, how it all happens. Right? Especially trans people. Well, again, born this way is true and not true. You can be born that way, but there's a lot more to it. It's much more complicated, right? And then people could not be born that way and think they were born that way because they're being willed in that direction by something. Something's causing that, and there could be physical things in their lives too. You could have a hormonal thing, but there's also a thing willing it, because you can change your hormonal makeup by diet and other things. So again, God can have everybody on the planet go this direction or go that direction. You'll never see it, or you might if God shows it to you. Like I told you, this is what God did for me. I was up in New York, a couple of different things, and I think it was New York, and I was on a highway. I think it was like near the Sawmill Parkway, but not on Sawmill Parkway. And maybe I was on 80 in Pennsylvania. It's up near New York. It's either northern Pennsylvania or New York. So I'm driving. And the guy goes, watch this. Okay, now make your move. Left turn signal, open lane to the left. Got it open to the lane to the left. Oh, wait, for me? Oh, yeah. And he goes, now look at the person in the right lane, open lane to the right. And the person goes to the right. And we're both driving the same speed. It was like what do they call that? I wouldn't say acrobatics, but it was like car ballet or something. But God was controlling it. And if God hadn't spoke to me about it, I wouldn't have seen it. And then me and the other car met like on the other side of the pack of vehicles that had opened up a lane on the right and up and a lane on the left, and then we met in the middle of the road. So it's like a 4-lane highway. So it's something like the Sawmill Parkway or 80. I think it's called 80 in northern Pennsylvania. It's kind of wide. So God showed me all this stuff. And again, it was like a lull in their ability to do that to me. And that's why God had me traveling, but then they started drugging me because I had to get away from where they were cursing me so God can explain things to me. So I did a lot of healing up in New York City and northern Pennsylvania. I think it was around Limerick, that kind of area. And of course, Edison, New Jersey, where I was healing the people from India. One of the goals was for me to marry a woman from India very quickly. They were hoping that would happen in New Jersey, but they got in the middle of it. Right. Well, God was doing it. Thank you, Larry. So God was like doing a lot of stuff like that. And then what was the other one? I think I spoke about it before. Oh, the bridge, right. So there's like I don't remember what was under it, whether it was water or another highway, but I was in New York City somewhere. I guess it was Queens or something like that. And I'm driving, and God says, okay, you're going to be invisible here shortly. And God's testing my vision, what I actually see. So I said, God, I believe you, but I don't see that I'm going to be invisible. I don't see that happening. And God says, get ready, get ready. So I start, I'm getting closer to this bridge that goes over something. And there's like 6 equally spaced people on the bridge. I think, no, actually it was probably like 8 or something. So it's like two couples in the middle of the bridge and maybe like a person on this side, on that side. So it's kind of like the same thing. God's setting up some sort of, what do they call that? Can't remember what it's called. When people like are in line, I guess a formation, something like a formation. So God sets up the formation, and he goes, and just as I hit the bridge, he goes, now you're invisible. And everybody on the bridge looked away and was looking out from the bridge, and they couldn't see me. Of course, God did that. But this also helps you understand why law enforcement fails, because a curse can do that. It can cause all the cops to be in the wrong place at the wrong time or look right when they should be looking left. That's why you have to keep law enforcement clean or it'll never work. And some people don't care. They just want to get rich. Right. It wasn't necessary for me to be rich, but you made it necessary for me to be rich to have a safe life because you all were corrupt. So I'm having all this stuff going on, and Satan's attacking, and I'm repelling, and God's explaining to me that same thing. It's like they want worship. That's worship. It happens in every church, just about. Preacher demands worship. Again, Trump will call it loyalty, but it's worship. They want to be God. That's really weird. It's a long train. So I'm on the back side of this place, and I'm looking at some lights blinking, and the train was going across the intersection. But I rounded the corner, and the sound was coming from the front of where I am, because it's across the street where the train is. So the front of the train was over here, and I could hear the train over here, but I could see it over there. That was like a mind bender. So that God does mind benders like that. So it was very interesting. So that's the kind of life you can have with God. It's pretty cool. God can show you all those things. So again, that's what we're trying to do for people. But if you're mesmerized by a certain religion, they can block your mind from actually seeing God, because they're trying to control all that information so they can be the big, and that you don't have that personal relationship. I call it CIA religion. Thank you. Thank you. So I mean, it's just that was the goal. That's pretty much the biggest part of what we were going to do. We were going to bring the truth and restore that personal relationship with God, God the Father. Again, things change. Like I told you, right now, that void into hell is not there, or not the void. What do they call it? A great chasm, or whatever it is. Our spirits are actually moving into hell, and there was some beings that were moved out of hell. So again, it's what God says it is, and the Bible has enough hints and clues that things will change and there'll be additional knowledge. Well, if you go to Genesis, Deuteronomy, Isaiah, and you watch this progression, and then when Jesus comes, he's just another rabbi, but he's the Son of God. He was Kabbalistic. Now, am I the same as Jesus? Well, don't ask me, ask Jesus. Okay? Well, he might explain it better. You know what they just did with that thought? The same thing they tried to do to Jesus about the taxation. See, they never change. And I did it back. In reality, I already explained that. If you have my stuff, there is no hierarchy. God isn't even. It doesn't. God isn't even like. Because God's like your friend. Because that's really where everything starts. God is one, creation is one. Are we God? No. That's definite. We're not God, but there's no hierarchy. Enoch walked with God and then was not. So that's a model of that place in a way that this planet could understand it. We walk with God. But of course, we're not. But that's true here too if we get to manifest. So like the trans people are being pushed away, and they go to the Episcopal Church, but it's not going to give them their answers. Right. So again, that's not really helping. I mean, it's good. It gives them a place to go. And again, the difference when God was wroth with Israel because it was just, matter of fact, because my family was Jewish, I become Jewish. In fact, today it's so bad, they will curse you out. They will push you out and then call you a sinner. Again, Rabbi Jesus said the same thing back then. I hope this guy's all right. Right. It kind of looks like he might be working for them, but he looks like he's bothered. Right. He's walking back. I hope he's not using meth or something like that. He seems religious. Right. Well, he wants to get out of here. He wants to move somewhere. He's asked his counselor to move him. And, somebody might come up to him and say, you want to move, do what we say, and then we'll get you a place in about a couple months. That could be it. I don't know. That's why I don't move to Emporia. They would ruin it for you. This place is already ruined. But again, that's why they shouldn't do this, because I can figure out what's going on much better, right? Because you can't tell who's working for them and who's not. And that's the goal. And it's not to stop me from committing crimes. They try to take credit for me not committing crimes. Like they have to do this, and we're good people because we stopped them from committing crimes. Like there's no credit for me not committing crimes. So again, they even erase your credit for being a good person. And of course, when I'm doing charity, I'm grooming, and they can use that kind of shit. They're garbage, man. They're shit. They're the ones in the Bible that God says will go to hell. And Jesus, admonished people not to be them. You can do a lot of wrong things and be forgiven, but that's the one thing that they have not forgiven at this point. Them, us. We, our image, will make you. Now, one of the things is funny because I've stood at the foundation in a vision. And of course, there's other people, the other beings, because God says, so the church goes, well, it's just Jesus. Oh, it's just Jesus? Oh, that's interesting. Thank you, Lynn. Like I said, okay, here's how I usually word things. I was there. I don't know if you were there, but just because maybe you weren't there, why do you say that I wasn't there? Because obviously there's multiple beings. Could have been all of creation for all we know. Mind bender. Try to say it. There's some gay voices in here with us. Oh, you made them gay. You might as well be in here. No, God didn't make us like this. But it's not just gay. God didn't make us bodies that get injured, that die, that kind of thing. That happened. We think we've found a time period when the snake voice originated. Here, now. Isn't that weird? But that's why it would be destroyed. Why the planet would be destroyed. So I just keep talking, so God will figure it out by the time I leave. Actually, speaking, talk is cheap. I speak. Whoa! Okay, Larry. See how it worked? So somehow they communicated. And again, when I woke up, God had me communicating with what looks like extraterrestrials, but you never know the ins and outs of it. What is it? Physical? You know, is it vegetable, animal, physical, metaphysical, psychological? Each one. There's a psychological world. There's a physical world. And there's a metaphysical world, and it's tangible. See, I'm grooming you. That's what they'll say. Oh, he's grooming us to be chosen. Like I cringe sometimes. Like, oh my God, I can't believe Jesus said that. I mean, it was for the time period, but it's like, how do we undo that? No, Jesus is with me. No, Jesus cringed when he. That's how Paul existed. Jesus cringed when he left the body. Oh no, I can't believe I did that. So then they created Paul, so that Jesus, or Paul, I guess, already existed or was being born at the point when Jesus was being killed. I guess I got to look at the dates, but the idea was that Paul was going to be a cleanup batter. And that's what he kind of did. He fixed some of the stuff that was wrong. Right? I wouldn't say wrong. It just needed further explanation because it didn't age well. Although Jesus said he messed up when he got mad at the temple, but then I explained it. Actually, I explained stuff to Jesus. Now I can't tell you when Jesus was here. It could have been a week after he left his body. It could have been a year. It could have been 10 years. There is no space and time in the real place that we all should be, actually. So now what happened is they possessed his mind, because you look into Scripture and Jesus actually sins, and everybody says he's sinless. How'd that work? Well, he explained it in his lifetime. And the Bible explains it. Because it wasn't his heart. He was possessed. That wasn't him. It was them acting out through him. And again, that's where you get the idea where the murderers and the thieves are forgiven. See, one of the first things God said to me, he said, it's not that amazing that I forgive people, because people I forgive actually earn the forgiveness. And he just left it at that. And they're like, oh, okay. And then, of course, he went, don't ask any questions right now. We'll explain it later. But I didn't hear that. It just happened, right? Because you look back and go, why didn't I ask a question? So yeah, it wasn't like it all hit me at once and I had all my answers. I just had the basic idea that whatever the church was doing, whatever the religions were doing, accept them as being in their place where they are, and some of them are evil and whatever it is. But there's a lot more to it, and it's nothing like what they're doing and nothing what they're explaining. Based upon what's available, that be what is going to be given in this time period of vision and dreams and all of that. Larry. So Jesus said God is within you, so that's supposed to start something. Or the kingdom of God is within you. That's the same thing as the self idea. Oh, New Agey. Well, Jesus sounds kind of New Agey, doesn't he? That's like waking up is funny because like all of a sudden, because I hear it all the time. Oh, that's New Agey. Oh yeah, let's stay away from that. Evil. And of course, some of the New Age people are evil, but like I wake up and it's like New Age never, it's like that's New Agey. It didn't mean that anymore. All of a sudden, open the scripture. Oh my God, the New Age. So I'm like, they're dissing Jesus. Of course it's God, And God's like doing all this stuff. No, God's kind of mad. I mean, I was supposed to have a life, and I never did live my life hardly at all. They isolated me. I'm not lying. They blocked everything. And the thing is, I was being blocked even when I was asleep. Like, God wanted to live a life with me. You see, I'm like Enoch. I'm pretty much like Enoch, and I think I'm the angel. I'm actually the angel that was with Enoch or something like that. I think that's what I am. Right. Or one of what I am. So it's supposed to be the same thing. Right. But God, of course, God walks over. Right. Right, God, don't step on my toes. Just because I say that, you got to be act out. That's actually God saying that through. Thank you, Larry. One day I will be not, right? No, it's a whole different world when you don't get to live your life. And I know for some of you, like, well, people are poor, but they live their life, all of you. There's a difference. Not maybe the life God had for them, but they lived a life. These people know what they did to me. There's no doubt. Actually. We'll pay it now. That's actually God laughing out through. So again, some of what you hear is actually God directly speaking through me with my voice or other voices. God's not happy, but God's not like mad. God's just going to get even. See, that's God. It's not me. No, because it's the shit they say. A lot of stuff you see happening is what they do. It's just like the rainbow. Because after I said that stuff about the rainbow, God goes, yeah, right. Now it's the rainbow. Everything's okay. Oh, another storm. Doesn't that suck? That's what they do to people. They stop it for a little while, then bring it back. You thought we were gone. 100%. And they start torturing the person all over again. Sometimes they run off to torture someone else. That's like a bigger target. It's like on the verge of becoming a mass shooter or killing themselves or killing someone else. Or going to a massage parlor and getting sexual, and then they all raid it after that person's in there. I'm serious. That's the real world, man. The rest is bullshit. Cover stories. No, I was serious. Like, that shows you it's not me. I'm like, oh, maybe you've all repented and it's okay. There's the rainbow. That's me. That's really who I am. Maybe it'll be okay. Then God's like, yeah, right. Wait till the next storm hits him. Because the second storm was worse than all the others. Right. Or that last storm after the rainbow, it got worse. But some people made it out. So you had like, what's the stars? And they're like superpowered. What was their names? I can't remember the guy's name. A couple of stars walked out. And he walked like 6 miles, and then a fan drove by and goes, "Hey, you're right." Chris Rock or something like that. I don't know. Yeah, so it had to me in the army. Like, you dissed me in my life. I was in the army doing this to protect you so you could have a job. But you wouldn't let me have one. How do you like to walk? You know, see, this shit sucks, right? Pulling you down. It's clumping around your feet. That's what I did for a living, walking this shit. See, but that's God. No, God's mad, but not mad. He's just going to get even. Who's getting mad is wrong, right? Getting even's okay, right? Not me. I liked it, though. I thought it was cool. Only once I was like, I really went off. But it was like a couple days of bullshit, right? Like, you know what it was really? It was irresponsibility of others. 100%. Now, I pay attention to detail. That's very important. Right. Somebody lost my packet to be an officer. Wasn't me. So again, they may have done that. So to let you know they were even possibly back then. But of course, limited. There was no internet back then. There was, right? So I don't even think there were cell phones. We have cell phones. No, we have cell phones. They're like satellite phones or something. And prick 77s. Thank you, Larry. I mean, these are major life-changing things. So God schedules me for West Point, and they destroy it. 100%. But again, they still got that level of power from me when we went to war. And there were some others God sent. Like I said, that bearded guy, I don't know who he was. Maybe Ahmadinejad. Some bearded guy in a like big beard and a cup. Now he could have been like Kuwaiti intelligence or something. I don't know, you know, or Saudi intelligence. I don't know. But he was mixed in with us when we went to probably like a scout, or we probably used him as a scout. Well, that one battle I was talking about, it was kind of like the Star Spangled Anthem battle. But when the morning came, you could look up on my mast and see a flag that I refused to take down. But it was just destruction. So the battlefield was like laid before us, and it was just burning, everything burning. Last time I saw, I think the last time I saw that guy, he was heading in that direction. We were going up like this ridge, up to this ridge. So we were on the other side of the ridge from the Republican Guard. And he was going up. I don't know why he was going up there. He was in an APC. And we were like, I don't remember what. I know wait a minute. Okay, so the Bradleys went in reverse. And we kept going. And the tanks came forward. That's why the breach. I guess they had the plows still on them, but the tanks, the M1s came forward. Because the Bradley saw the Republican Guard unit, and they put them in reverse. And then the M1s came up. So we were right behind the Bradleys at the front, but we never got to go. We had to keep going forward. I don't even know why they wanted us up there. Actually, the tank captain, I think he got a Silver Star out of it. He was a company commander or something like that. I guess the company. Right? So he was like, well, I don't want you actually near us. We had so much explosives. I mean, it was by God's grace we lived, right? So much. We're sleeping on explosives. And one round, I would have been it. I mean, we wouldn't have felt anything. Would have been one hell of a crater, though. Each one of our vehicles would have just left a big, huge crater. Shape charges, C4, Bangalore torpedo, Claymores. We we were like, what did we traded something with the infantry? I think the infantry gave us claymores and we gave them C4. We were kind of like before we rolled for, I think it was G-Day or something like that. We were all like divvying up our stuff. But I mean, it made no sense, actually. We're in 113s. They're in Bradleys. The Bradleys are hightail again. We're in 113s full of explosives, and we're driving straight ahead. But then the M1s came up because they're faster than us, right? That was it. It was like a few hours later that we started moving past that initial spot and decimation. But that's where I could have inhaled that irradiated uranium stuff. Yeah, that's how you feel like, what's that movie? Lee Moore, the Big Red One movie, actually, yeah. Or Kelly's Heroes or something like that. Because it's just weird. It was like so surreal. Because it's uneven turf. We're like, just like you saw in the movie. Because we're all mechanized. The mechanized war is different, you know? Like armor on armor and all that. It's like way different. No, essentially when I woke up, then God started explaining everything. And then like when he would show certain visions, and then there would be a crown. Like I had a crown on, like the Saudi guy or whoever, Kuwaiti guy or Muhaddin, whoever, he had a crown on. So that's how that happened. But by the time we hit Afghanistan and Iraq again, the royalty was killed. They're all fake, man. They're propped up nothings. Can't do anything right. They have no power of God. They have no right even to be in those positions. And then, like the one guy that comes, you'll see the difference. But what did they do? They killed him. Gant. They were jealous. They were angry. They destroyed others besides Gant. That one guy that was the Marine guy that actually came up with the Awakening Council idea. He actually went forward with it, and they tried to put him in prison for giving Iraqis some weapons to protect themselves. He was a contractor. So they did it to him. They did it to Gant. These are the people that have rightfully assumed those positions and were about to make us win. And of course, they took his Awakening Council idea. Well, his idea made it the Awakening Councils and said it was their idea. They're like a general somewhere or retired by now. While he was, blackballed. That's why you can't win. You got a bunch of pieces of shit stabbing everybody in the back all day long. Oh, yes, he's just disgruntled. This is all just disgruntled. So you disgruntled, bitch. You lost because you killed Gant, you idiots. And you watch, now Putin's got trouble. Right? I guess I don't know if he killed him or the Ukrainians or the CIA or MI5 killed him. I don't know who killed him. Could be one of those Russian revolutionary units, right? I mean, it's so much build up to, it's like I said, it's too sweet. It's too heavy. The build up that Putin's going to kill him. Now, you could have maybe brainwashed Putin into killing him, but it doesn't necessarily have to be Putin. And he'd be stupid to kill him. If he killed him, he has a right to lose. Because it only got to that point because your people were trying to take him out and cursed him and all the other things. Military is not hard to realize. It's the hardest to get around the assholes on actually what's happening. The only reason Gant ended up there is that's where the evil wanted him. The evil coworkers and people in Renfos not getting the credit they want because he's getting the credit. That's why you lost. You killed Gant. Now, he killed Prigozhin or whatever his name is, and he might lose. But again, I think it's going to go to negotiation. It's probably the best thing to do. Everybody's got fancies that they're going to win. It's a delusion. I told you it was a delusion when you started. I mean, I helped you at first, and that's a delusion. You just, it's going to be too much bloodshed. Don't do it. But again, you're evil, attacked my life, and went forward with it, and you're delusional, all of you. Okay, where are we at now? Exactly where I told you we were going to be. Oh, well. I could have been married in a second. Even officers are in the head and agents like, they didn't do this. Every place you lived, you had like 5 possible wives. They just killed them all. Metaphysically, but maybe 1 or 2 died. But after not, Jonathan Luna, they did it to him. They could do it to anybody. It's not settled that it's suicide, right? Remember, I'm from Pennsylvania, so Pennsylvania says it's homicide. I agree that it could be suicide. Boy, it was some shit I went through. And I don't know if John ever went through anything in his life where his mind was tested like that. Right. And again, John wasn't like, let me go to church. They're pissing me off. I'm going to church. That's it. I'm going to church. Go away. And they paid off the church. Probably went in and blackmailed the church, extorted the church. They said, well, you got this bad guy in the church. My name's Martha Hughes. He works for me. He's horrible. He's horrible. Don't let him near women. This is their obsession. Don't let him near women. Sickos. Hey, you want to try to get in the office?
We need to check in.
Okay, right here, there's a phone, and then it rings whoever's the office person.
Oh.
So just pick it up. Just pick it up. It should ring. Is it ringing? Yeah. Okay. Nice couple there. Pleasant. Little did they know they spoke to like the highest angel. Satan's watching me. You on the cameras here? It's got 2 red eyes. That's a symbol. You'll see that every so often in your life, if you can see. Like sometimes you'll see an intersection way off, and it'll be like 2 red eyes, but it'll be 2 red lights. Satan's watching you. It could be physical, it could be metaphysical, it could be psychological, whatever it is. Or all 3. Just 2 infrared lights on the cameras. Oh, hi, assholes. Did you tap into the video here? What? I'm just speaking with their language. I'm using the colloquial terms. But it's like in depth. The agents that investigate things on what's happening to me, right? They're honest. They're like, look, I don't know what they're going to do. Probably nothing like before, but we have to figure it out. Because part of their psychological operation is, okay, now we're going to do something. Now you're going to have a good life. So that's part of the psychological operation. Or an okay life, Right. And again, that sometimes leads to suicide itself. Right. Well, I'm having too much fun here. Keep going. Destroy this place. Messing with Adam and Eve like that. I'm friends with Adam and Eve. Did you read the book of Raziel? They're my friends. crucifying Jesus. I'm that angel. Like Satan tries to torment me. Oh, you couldn't protect Jesus, could you? I'm not worried about that, Satan. We'll take care of it in due time. Satan loved getting me in a body. He's ex-Jesus too, right? Gets it torturous. We're going to find all of you and send you all to hell. See how long I've been out there. Wow, it's been 11103. Or 03. Thank you, Larry. That was great yesterday. God got me places where I could see because I keep cursing my C up here. I got to get out of the next one. Well, the thing is, the more geographic area that I use for just my whatever shopping, life, driving around, healing, whatever it is, the harder it is for them to contain the spiritual movement and to affect people so that the entire community falls. Right. Again, a place like Emporia is not that big. They could, no time taking that place. I'm sure there's a couple of operators, but they don't own it. Right. They'll own it. They'll just make as much money as they need to own it. And then they'll, have dossiers on everybody. Just tap into whatever computer system. I'm sure they've used NSA's computer systems. I'm sure they use private sector NSA style, like Atlantica or whatever it is. Right. The one that Trump used. Right. That's like an NSA style database. How does he know this? Bzz, I'm on your walls. Actually, that's Beelzebub. Beelzebub supposedly repented. Again, I don't embrace everything that Samael, whatever, how you say that. He came to the earth. He had a life. He actually had a wife. He told me, see, I got a wife. I'm the one that told you, don't worry, you'll get a wife, but I was wrong. They're more evil than we ever thought. Oh, Samael. I wonder if Samael's out there somewhere. Maybe the fires. I don't know. Well, you have to look at it from God's standpoint also. There are people suffering and you're laughing about it. So when your people suffer, you're like, oh, this is horrible. Well, God hates that. Hates that worse than just playing religion. That you mourn for these people, you don't mourn for those people. God hates that horribly. That's the spells you put out there, all of you. And God knows it. Well, stay peaceful. Praise God in all that you do. And I mean it. Stay peaceful.